Senior Information and Financial Aid Night. Please prepare yourselves for an informative evening. On behalf of the Board of Education, District Administration, building principals, leadership teams, faculty, and staff, welcome seniors, parents, and guardians to tonight's presentation. The purpose of this event is to address post-high school planning. Specifically, the District 205 3E post-high school plan that all seniors in our district must complete prior to graduation. The 3 E's in the plan each represent the options that a student may pursue. And tonight we will focus on the option of being enrolled in either a 2-year college, 4-year college or university, or career, tech, or trade schools. We will also address being enlisted in the military. And most importantly, time will be spent discussing how to fund one's enrollment in a post-secondary institution, financial aid. You're encouraged to listen intensely and to get paper and pen to take notes, for the information that you will hear will be useful to you throughout the entire school year and in the upcoming future, provided you continue to pursue post-secondary education. And now our college and career counselors. Mrs. Teresa King serves as a college and career counselor at Thornton Township High School. Mrs. Annette Johnson at Thorn Ridge High School, and myself, Mrs. Rosita Bishop at Thornwood High School. As college and career counselors, we operate the College and Career Center in our respective buildings to assist students in creating their post-high school plans. In addition, we have virtual Google Classrooms available to maximize communication with students. You are currently viewing the banners for our Google Classrooms. If a student cannot see us in person, they can definitely go to the virtual Google Classroom for our college and career centers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and find all that is necessary to plan their future. The Thornton Township High School counseling team consists of Dr. Todd Hall, our assistant principal over counseling. The counselors are Mrs. Shauna Scott Moody. She handles last names A through DE. Dr. Frederick Gandy handles last names DI through Joyner. Mrs. Ramel Hill Jackson has last names Jolly through ORT, E, and the IB students. Mrs. Tahira Pervin has last names ORTI through TA. And Mrs. Nzinga Troutman has last names TE through Z and the Avid students. Mrs. Teresa King, myself, is a college and career counselor, and Ms. Stephanie Drayton is our attendance counselor, and this is the best team ever. The Thornridge High School counselors are Mrs. Megan St. Pierre, who counsels all students as well as avid students. Mr. Frank Gomez, who counsels all students as well as the IB and AP students. Mr. Dwayne Hewlett counsels all students. And myself, Mrs. Annette Johnson, I am the college and career counselor. Mr. William Brown is the assistant principal over counselors. The Thornwood High School counselors are Mrs. Laura Alexander Flair, who serves seniors with the last names A through C, Mrs. K. Tyrone Hartz, seniors, last names D through HO, Mr. Daniel Galvin, last names HU through MI, Mrs. Jelena Jones, last names MO through P, and all avid students. Mrs. Rashia Ratliff, last names Q through TE. Mr. Daryl Reddick, last names TH through Z, and all IB students. Mrs. Rosita Bishop is the college and career counselor. Dr. Nikisha Knight is the assistant principal for the counseling team. Let's take an in-depth look at the Thornton School District 2053 post-high school plan that every senior in each of our 3 school buildings must complete prior to graduation. It is important that our seniors leave with a diploma and a plan for their future. This plan has 3 parts. Part 1, the senior needs to determine which E or option he or she will pursue after graduation. There are 3 options. Seniors may choose to be enrolled in a 2-year college, like our local junior college, South Suburban College, enrolled in a 4-year college or university, or if pursuing a trade, enrolled in an apprenticeship program or tech or trade school. So a senior may choose to be enrolled at some type of post-secondary institution. Next is the option to be enlisted in any of our branches of the United States military. The third and final option is to be gainfully employed full-time. Once the senior has determined their E, he or she must present evidence or proof that they are pursuing that particular option. Part 2. The state of Illinois mandates the free application for federal student aid, FAFSA, be completed as a graduation requirement by all seniors attending public high schools. Seniors are to complete the FAFSA for the upcoming school year, and it will be available October 1st at www.studentaid.gov. Again, this is an Illinois graduation requirement for all seniors attending a public high school in our state. Once the FAFSA has been completed at studentaid.gov, the senior will receive a confirmation email, which is proof that the FAFSA has been completed. After parts 1 and 2 have been completed, it's time for the senior to complete the plan completion survey. It's simply a matter of emailing the college and career counselor in the building to share that they have completed the first 2 parts of the plan and he or she is ready for the survey. After completing the survey, all 3 parts of the plan are now finished and the senior has completed the entire D205 3E post-high school plan. A gift will be awarded to each senior upon completion of the plan, and a senior decision celebration event will take place prior to graduation. It's important to have a plan for one's future. Equally important is to have a plan to fund one's future. Governor Pritzker, in January of 2019, signed Public Act 101-0180 into law. This law states that beginning with the class of 2021 and beyond, all seniors in Illinois public high schools must complete the free application for federal student aid for the upcoming school year. Doing so will allow the senior to see if he or she is eligible for federal and or state funding to pursue the costs to attend any post-secondary institution. That would be a 2-year college, 4-year college, tech, trade, or career school. As long as that school accepts financial aid, the senior needs to have completed that FAFSA for that upcoming school year that he or she would be enrolled. So yes, if there is a barber college that the student is interested in and that barber college accepts financial aid, the FAFSA needs to have been done in advance of that year that he or she will be attending the barber college. Should there be an issue with regard to one's immigration status, then the student would complete an alternative application for state financial aid. Lastly, in rare, very rare instances, it may be necessary for a senior to opt out of this particular requirement.
You may ask yourself, where do I find scholarships? Well, we could start with Naviance. At the top of the Naviance welcome page, select the colleges tab. Then you will scroll over to the right and locate scholarships and money. Next, you will select the scholarship search tab. This is where you will find specific local, regional, and national scholarships. In addition, there are links to scholarship websites at the bottom of the Naviance homepage. Another place where you'll find scholarships will be your high school's website. You may also try your college and career counselor's Google Classroom. And lastly, you may also try the colleges and universities' website directly. They tend to offer scholarships for students who apply by their priority deadline. What is Naviance? Naviance is an online software program that is used to complete the college application process when applying to individual or several schools at one time. Students may also use it to request transcripts to be sent to colleges and scholarship organizations. They are able to register for in-person and virtual visits with college representatives, research 2- and 4-year colleges and universities, explore careers, research trade and technical schools, search for scholarships, and create a resume.
It does truly take a village to raise a child. That saying is probably more so true today than ever before. And therefore, District 205 is so pleased to have outstanding partnerships with Illinois Student Assistance Commission, ISAC, and Talent Search, which is a TRIO program through the Family Centered Educational Agency located here in South Holland, Illinois. The people you see before you work with seniors in a variety of different ways. It could be post-high school planning, meaning helping them determine their E and every aspect of pursuing that post-secondary option. And also with regard to completing the FAFSA. Yes, help is needed. We know that help is needed. And therefore, Mr. Gregory Curry, who is our ISAC Core representative coming from the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, will be available to meet with families in person in our buildings as well as virtually to help complete the 2022-2023 FAFSA. We also will have Ms. Janika Jones, who will be working with Thornton primarily, Ms. Taylor Reese, who will work with both Thornwood and Thornton, and Mr. Patrick Sheard, who will serve Thornton Ridge students. The Director of Talent Search is Ms. Gabrielle Dillon. So it is with these two partnerships that the college and career counselors are able to assist the seniors in planning their future. Without them, we would not be successful in doing so.
We also have important phone numbers that we'd like to share with you. One is a talking line or the FAFSA hotline. You can call there if you have specific questions for your FAFSA. That number is 1-800-433-3243. The other number is for texting. This number is available with different area codes. You can pick your specific area code number, or you can text the number for any area code. The number for our area code, or 708, is 708-252-3890. Again, you can text any of these area codes, and you will start a text conversation with live help. Next, we will have guest presenters. First, Christina Gutierrez, who is coming to us from South Suburban College, our local community college. She will be speaking to us about the financial as well as educational opportunities available at South Suburban. She will be followed by the Army National Guard. The representatives that will speak to us are Sergeant Shazaro and Sergeant Washington. They will be addressing the opportunities that are available through the military, both financial and educational. These presenters will be followed by Dr. Jonathan McKenzie. Dr. Jonathan McKenzie of the Family Centered Educational Agency will be speaking with us this evening. His agency is responsible for many successful students from District 205. We are fortunate to have him here this evening, and Dr. McKenzie has led us many years for Financial Aid Night. He has a wealth of information that I know you will find helpful and useful as you move forward in this process. We thank him for being available to us tonight, and we also thank the partners at the Family Centered Educational Agencies, Talent Search, and Upward Bound for helping our students and helping our families navigate this financial aid process and go on to be successful students and successful human beings. We thank Dr. McKenzie and we welcome him to present to us tonight. Again, the order of presentation will be South Suburban, followed by the U.S. Army Reserve, and then Dr. Jonathan McKenzie.
Our presenters are coming right up. We actually have a change in our program this evening. Miss Daisy Lozano and Gloria Ruiz will be the presenters from South Suburban College, and they will be up in just 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay, Hello, my name is Daisy Lozano, and I will be presenting with my partner, Gloria Ruiz.
Hello, my name is Gloria Ruiz. I am a student and peer mentor here at South Suburban College.
All right.
We are here to help navigate through the application of FAFSA. Some of the things and tips when applying during the application, you want to answer any questions surrounding your immigration status. Never put yes to are you a citizen of the United States, even if you are a resident. You should always answer honestly or leave it blank if it allows you to. When financing your education, if you are a documented or undocumented, you do not qualify for FAFSA, even if you have a social security number. If you are documented or undocumented, you may be eligible for alternative applications, also known as the RISE Act. Some of the requirements are attending a high school in the state of Illinois for a minimum of 3 years. You must graduate from an Illinois public or private high school, and you must have resided with a parent or guardian while attending. The RISE Act is an alternative application. It makes students eligible for the MAP grant, which is a monetary assistance program provided by the state of Illinois. It makes students eligible for the MAP grant, and expected family contribution, the EFC, will be calculated from the information submitted on the alternative application, which will be used in determining a student's eligibility for MAP. MAP award amounts will be calculated for eligible students and provided to colleges by ISAC.
And a little bit more about the RISE Act. It's different than the FAFSA. You are not, if you are undocumented or documented, FAFSA is federally, they give you money from the federal and state. So the RISE Act or the alternative application is only money from the state. For scholarships, you're able to apply for scholarships if you're undocumented or documented only if that do not require for you to be a U.S. citizen. So make sure that you're reviewing the requirements, and make sure that you meet those requirements. And if you are they require U.S. citizen, then you'll not be able to be eligible. We advise you to start searching for local scholarships, which are way easier to win. As mentioned in the slideshow before us, use your resources with your counselors. Our South Suburban also offers a numerous amount of scholarships, and there's only one application that you could apply, and it sends out to all the scholarships that you're eligible for. South Suburban scholarships, you do not need to be a U.S. citizen. They're open for all students, so make sure to apply. We have examples of undocumented student cases. So for example, here, for example, here we have a high school senior student who applied for the RISE Act and alternative app. Their family income is $30,000 and they have 4 family members. The EFC is 0. 0 means that your family is expected to contribute nothing, so that gives you the maximum amount of money on your RISE Act alternative app. So with the RISE Act, the MAP money, you get $2,250 annually. The cost of attendance here at SSC for a full-time 15 hours is $4,560. $2,560, which does not include books and fees. With just the MAP grant, you'll be paying out of pocket $2,310 annually, and per semester would be $1,155. Again, this does not include the books and the fees, so just keep that in mind. However, if you were to apply for the RISE Act and the Board of Trustees Scholarship, which again is a scholarship database that we use, that once you apply for one, you're able to send it out to all the scholarships that you're eligible for. Again, it's the same family income, same family members. The EFC is also the same. You get your RISE Act, and then you get your scholarship. The Board of Trustees scholarship is only for high school students, senior high school students who have who qualify. So make sure that you're applying for that, and it's 1,000 to 1,500 per semester, which you can max it out to 3,648 annually. I advise you to apply for this Board of Trustees scholarships in order to get this award. So again, the cost of attendance for us is $4,560, and with this scholarship, you'll be paying out zero out of pocket. This is not the only scholarship that we offer. There's different scholarships that have about $1,000 offering for students. So how do you apply to SSC? So at SSC, everybody is welcome. You'll go to our website, go to the admissions and registration. They would ask you questions if you're a citizen. Make sure you leave those questions blank. If you're documented, go ahead and add your status. Our faculty have been doing training on allyship for undocumented students and documented students, so you are welcome here. Once you apply, you are gonna have to take placement tests or bring your SAT scores. Depending on where you place with your ACT scores, you will either have to not take a placement test or a placement test. And if you have any questions regarding that, you could always email us. To schedule a placement test, you will have to email. You could either email or go in person. Emailing, the email is testingcenterquestions@ssc.edu with your name, birthday, and then you'll schedule your placement test. We are open every day, Monday to Thursday, before 1 p.m. You're more than welcome to visit the campus, and the assessment center is on the second floor. They'll take the last testing person at 1 p.m., and the testing takes about 4 hours. And that'll either be your math, your English, and your reading. The SAT scores, you have to be able to get a high enough score to test out of your placements, and you could access that booklet on our website. Once you're done with your placement test, you'll be doing orientation, and orientation is just letting you know what SSC is all about and the college's resources. And you'll be contacting and communicating with our manager of outreach and onboarding, which is Cristina Gutierrez, who could not be here today. She'll let you know how to register and how to meet with the counselor and give you the rundown of orientation. Her phone number is displayed as well as her email. She's very friendly. I'm sorry that she could not be here. She had a family emergency. But don't hesitate to reach out to her if you have any questions. Continuing at SSC, we have numerous resources. We recently just had a grant for a peer mentor, and Gloria is one of our peer mentors here, is going to talk about what they do at our college.
Yes, Peer Mentor is a new program that started recently at South Suburban College. It is set up to help students transition from high school into the college setting. This program gives students the support from fellow classmates and assists them in navigating through assignments and organizational skills. It's also meant to show them all of the resources that are set up for their success at South Suburban.
It's a really great resource. A lot of students go to the peer mentors for advice, whether it's walking them down to tutoring center or having a friend for lunch. So it's really nice to connect incoming freshmen with these peer mentors that have been at SSC for about a semester or two. And finally, this is also a new program that we are going to be offering. It's called the Summer Bridge FYU program. It's for seniors in high school, first-year students, and first-time college students. You'll earn up to 7 college credits either in math, English, and our OCS requirement class in about 8 weeks. You get free tuition, books, and fees. You do have to place into developmental courses, and what that is non-college level classes to get them out the way once you start your fall. This is a transitional program, so once you finish your summer bridge program, we continue to monitor you the first year of college at SSC to make sure that you're keeping up with your homework, seeing your counselor, meeting new people, going to events at SSC. We're still, the application is going to open up in November, early November. So make sure that you apply if you're eligible. If you're not sure if you're eligible, go ahead and apply anyway. We are going to go through all those applications and contact students who are eligible and not eligible. It is a limited program, so we are taking about 30 to 45 students. It could be more depending on the funding that we have, but I do suggest you to apply. Look out for that application on our website under Summer Bridge. And then just questions.
Thank you, Ms. Lozano and Ms. Ruiz, for that important information regarding South Suburban College. Seniors, keep in mind that SSC is an option that can work for anyone. They have outstanding programming, everything from certificate programs all the way through trades and, of course, the associate degree. Moving on to the National Guard, instead of Sergeant Shazara, we have Sergeant Paris Washington.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Again, I am Sergeant Washington. I'm a recruiter with the Illinois National Guard, and basically, I'm here just to give you guys some information on how the National Guard can help you spearhead your career, depending on what you want to do after high school. All right, so we're going to help you show you how you can help your career, your post-secondary career. All right. So what is the National Guard? The National Guard, we call ourselves citizen soldiers. All right, we're a part-time entity. Okay, so we're not like your regular army. Okay, we're a part-time entity. We are a reserve component of the army. All right, but we're not the Army Reserves. All right, so they have their own thing, and we're just the Army National Guard. All right, we're a community-based organization, trained and ready to support local communities and the nation. All right. So before we get started, just want you to think about what's your plan after graduating. All right. It could be going to college, getting a job, joining the military, trade school, if you want to travel. Maybe some of you don't know. All right. I'm going to give you information on how you can do all of those things at the same time. Okay. All right. So what's some of the financial benefits of the National Guard? It's a great part-time job with excellent benefits. All right, so you're gonna get a steady monthly paycheck. We only serve 39 days, typically 39 days out of the year. And so that'll be 2 days out of the month. All right. It's 2 days out of the month belongs to the National Guard, and the other school, getting a job, or doing the trade program. All right. And then typically we'll do 2 weeks in the summer of annual training. So whatever job you decide to pick, after joining, that's what you'll do for those 2 weeks. You'll be training on your actual job. Okay. We're going to give you paid job skills, low cost health and dental coverage, life insurance, and a retirement plan. Okay. We also have bonuses, and you can get those sweet military discounts, and they are sweet sometimes. Trust me. All right, excellent education benefits, where you can go to school and not be debt free once you're done. Okay. All right. So what's some of our college benefits? All right. So we are both a federal and state entity. All right. I want you to keep that in mind. Okay. The good thing about that is you get both federal and state benefits. Okay. And we're the only branch that gets both state and federal benefits. So one of our federal benefits will be the Montgomery GI Bill. And that is a benefit, and that is something you'll get monthly if you are a full-time college student. Okay. You'll get up to $407 a month. So depending on the amount of semester hours that you're going to school for, depends on how much you'll get. Which 407 will be for our full-time students. And if you're taking half, of course you'll get half of that. Okay, so it just depends on the amount of hours you're going to school for. And over the course of 4 years, that'll be a total of almost $15,000. Okay. Also, you get the federal tuition assistance, and these and that's another 4,000 a year. That'll be a total of 16,000, and you're also able to use both of those in conjunction with each other. Okay, so you can use both the GI Bill and your federal tuition assistance at the same time. Okay, now for those of you who want to go to Illinois State School, whether that be NIU, EIU, SIU, South Suburban, any of your 2-year or 4-year colleges, you get to go for free. All right, automatically if you're in the National Guard at the end of if you join now at the end of your senior year, you come back from training, school is going to be free for you. Okay, we're going to pay for you to go to school, and we're going to put money in your pocket while you're going to school as well. Okay. Other available incentives. So to get into the National Guard, you have to take what we call the ASVAB, and you can think of the ASVAB as an equivalent to your SATs. Okay, so that's in the military branch. Any military branch you want to get into, you have to take the ASVAB. So on top of the regular GI Bill, if you score 50 or higher, you get an extra $200 per month. All right, so that's another 12,000, almost $13,000 you can add. All right, so your $407 you get for the GI Bill will now go up to $607 a month. You're going to get paid monthly. All right, and that is going straight to your bank account. If you score 50 or higher as well, you can get up to $20,000 bonus. Okay, when you join. All right, so you can add that $20,000 if you get a 50 or higher on the ASVAB. All right. So typically, college is around your average cost of college. Your state college is around $30,000. Okay, and estimated over a 6-year contract from National Guard, you're going to get about 42,000, and that's not including the tuition waiver. All right, so if you're going to school for free, you still will be able to get the $42,000 as well. All right, so that's beside the wave. So for those of you who don't want to go to a state college school, maybe you want to go to Columbia, maybe you want to go to a private school like Northwestern, Loyola, one of those schools. You still can receive some of these benefits. Okay. So what else we going to give you besides paying for college? Right? Everybody doesn't want to go to college, right? So and to graduate, you have to be either enlisted, enroll, or get a job. Okay. So we got over 150 jobs to choose from. All right. Some of our jobs, we got 92 Golf, which is a food service specialist. Pretty much a cook. Okay. We got truck driver. All right. The good thing about our truck driver program is it's only about 6 weeks long, and at the end of the truck driving program, you can come back to your state, and you don't have to take the truck driving classes. Okay, you don't have to do the driving portion. All you have to do is take the written portion, and you can get your CDL right away. All right, so that's the good thing about our truck driving program. Other jobs, we have jobs under admin, so we have HR specialists, aviation, and that's from flying helicopters and fixing them. Cyber careers. All right, we got cybersecurity, IT jobs, engineering. We have combat jobs as well. Mechanic, medical. We have nurses. We have physical therapy. We have psych jobs. police. All right, we got military police, supply jobs. If you want to work in the supply chain field, we have that. Technology and transport. All right. So any jobs you can think of, in some way or some form, the National Guard can help you with those jobs. Okay. Um, if you got any information, if you like what you heard today, you can text me now at 773-937-2236. Include your name, and I'll probably get to you usually in around 24, 48 hours. You can ask me any questions and I'll give you some further information. Alrighty? Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Washington. So up next is our fabulous, the one, the only, Dr. Jonathan McKenzie, CEO of the Family Centered Educational Agency, to bring us a useful presentation on all things financial aid and the FAFSA. So again, if you didn't get your notes or your pen ready and paper, you might want to really do that now and listen intensely. Dr. Jonathan McKenzie, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. My name is Dr. Jonathan McKenzie. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the Family Centered Educational Agency. And I started off working in financial aid in 1983 at Illinois State University. And I've been working there working in financial aid ever since. And so every year I get more training either from the U.S. Department of Education, or we receive training from the National Association of Financial Aid Administrators. This process is a very tedious process. And so, as Ms. Bishop has said, please grab a pen or piece of paper, because I'm going to say some things tonight that are going to be helpful in helping you to complete this application process and learn more about it. And so let's go ahead and get started. Again, with the Family Centered Educational Agency, we have several programs that are college preparatory in nature, or it will assist students with college enrollment. There's our Upward Bound program, predominantly for high school freshmen or sophomores who are in need of academic support to become ready to enroll into a college or university after high school graduation. And we also have our Educational Talent Search programs that assist students with FAFSA applications, admissions applications, and all of that. And we also have an Educational Opportunity Centers program. If you are not in District 205, and you happen to be seeing this presentation tonight via YouTube, that program can assist you also with getting into a GED program, getting enrolled, re-enrolling into a post-secondary institution, or enrolling into a post-secondary institution of your choice. So let's talk about this free application for federal student aid. The key word is free. It should not, anyone assisting you with this application should not be charging you anything. Anyone assisting you with this application should not be charging you anything to assist you. They should be helping you for free. If they are charging you, it's probably something fraudulent, and you need to be careful. As Ms. Bishop and Ms. King have already indicated, there are numerous staff members within the school, helping at each of the target schools, and I'll give you some more information at the end of this presentation. And you do want to stay tuned to the end of this presentation, because there is a special gift for everyone who makes it to the end of the presentation. All right. So who should complete the FAFSA? Your college uses, the college that you're going to go to or choose to go to uses the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, to determine your federal eligibility. Many states and colleges use FAFSA data to award their own aid as well. So there's federal aid, and you've heard people talk about that. Then there's state aid, such as the MAP award, but then there's also merit-based aid that comes from the college or university that you choose to attend. If you're a DACA student, there's aid set aside specifically for undocumented citizens at certain universities. But everything starts with either a federal application for federal student aid, a free application for federal student aid, or that DACA form that they mentioned earlier during the SSC presentation. Okay, so definitely after submitting this application, you'll receive something called a student aid report, and I'll say more about that later on. So again, if you're a citizen of the United States, and let me give a point of clarification. Earlier, you heard if you are, I think the presenter said if you're a citizen, don't check yes. They were referring to students who are undocumented. Okay, I'm referring to students who are documented, who are U.S. citizens. When you get the application, you're going to check yes that you are a U.S. citizen. If you are undocumented, you're going to check that you are not a U.S. citizen, right? Okay, so in order to be eligible to complete this application, you have to be a citizen. Be enrolled or accepted for enrollment in a regular student in an eligible degree or certification program. This is in order to get the money, right? This is the status that you have to have. You need to be enrolled at least half time to be eligible for the direct student loan program or other federal funds that are offered at your host institution that you're going to be going to, right? If you're a student, you need to have a high school diploma or recognized equivalent, such as a general education development certificate, a GED, and we help students to get into GED programs. South Suburban has an awesome GED program that if you've dropped out of school or stopped out of school and you don't have your high school credentials, you can enroll into that GED program. And once you have it, you can complete this FAFSA application. All right. So I'm going to move on because I want to make sure I cover everything tonight. Also, where do you complete the FAFSA? You want to go to FAFSA.gov. Make sure that you go to the right website. There's some other websites that you can go to where you will share your information and you will think that you are applying for the free application for federal student aid, but you will actually be sending your information to a third-party source, someone that is not at the federal government level, and that you will know that you've clicked on the wrong site because at the end of the process, they will ask you to pay a fee. All right. So if you're asked to pay a fee, you have shared your information with the wrong site. Okay. If you go to www.fafsa.gov, you will be at the right site. You can complete the application on your desktop, or you can complete the application using the mobile app that the government shares with you. So what's needed to complete the FAFSA? The first thing that you need is an ID, a federal student aid identification password, right? And so that's the FSA ID. If you are a student, you need a FSA ID. And if you are a parent of a student, your parent also needs a FSA ID. You cannot use the same user name and password for both of you. Each of you will need an individual FSA ID, right? If your parents have already applied for an FSA ID for an older sibling who went to school last year, they do not need to reapply. But if they have not applied and they can use that old, if they have applied, they can use the old FSA ID. If they haven't, they'll need to apply and put in a password and username. Now be careful, store this information in a very safe place. Make sure maybe you can store it in your phone somewhere under a secret passcode, but don't share it. This information should not be shared with others. This is your electronic signature. A person who has your electronic signature can sign for things, right? You don't want anyone doing that. You don't want anyone buying a car in your name, different things like that. So protect this FSA ID, all right? What are some other things that are needed besides your FSA ID? You'll need your 2021 tax information. The way that financial aid works, you're going to be applying for financial aid next year, right? To pay for college costs for next year. Next year will be 2023, right? And as you're in school, you will be in school for the 2023-2024 year. Okay. So, but what the government does, they use old tax information to consider you for eligibility for financial aid. So you're not going to be using your your new tax returns that your parents are getting ready to file for the 2022 year, they're going to go back and use 2021 tax information. All right. So make sure that you have that information with you. If your parents have their W-2s for that time period, have that on hand. There's a tool that I'm going to talk about that allows you to submit that information really easily into the system. But just in case there are any problems, you'll need to have the paper information with you. Social Security number. Now, listen, I know we have several names. Some of us are called, Ricardo is called Ricky, right? Richard is called Bob. But whatever name is listed, this is really important. Whatever name is listed on your Social Security card, that is the name that you must list on your financial aid application. All right. It's time for us to, get rid of no surnames, no nicknames, different things like that. They've been calling you Buki, but your real name is Bridget. You need to be Bridget for this application. All right. I wish I could hear your voices or hear your response back to this information, because I want to make sure that you hear me. So we have to list it correctly. If there's a discrepancy, if you list this information, your Social Security number, on the FAFSA application, and the federal processor runs all of your information, and there's a conflict between your real name and your nickname or whatever name you've been using, your application is going to be held up. Okay. And we don't want that. So we want consistent information. Everything needs to be consistent. If you have an alien registration number, if you're a permanent resident, you will list that. Records of untaxed income. If you have records, have that information ready. Family information. Who's in your household? How many brothers and sisters do you have that are living in your household? If there are other people living in your household who are receiving more than 50% of their support from your parents, they can be a part of your household. We need to have that information ready to share on this application. There's some special circumstance documentation. This application will not allow you to fully explain your family situation. And I want you to write this down right now. Get a pen, make sure you get a piece of paper. I'm about to say something that's really, really important. And that is, get help with this application. Get professional help. I have had students tell me, I asked them, who filled out, they said, have you applied for the FAFSA? Yes, I did. I already filled out my application. I said, who helped you? My mom's beautician. Listen, this application and this information changes every year. If the people who are helping you with this application are not attending trainings, are not being trained to assist you, are not keeping up on the regulations and the policies that govern federal aid and state aid and financial aid, then you're going to have information that's put down incorrectly. And even if you apply on October 1st, when this application opens up, you're going to be at the back of the line if you have inaccurate information. This is only the beginning of the process. This is only the start of the process. There are many steps that you will have to take in order to make sure that you can receive the financial aid needed. There are many students who graduate from high school, have celebrations, have trunk parties, go to enroll, fill out an admissions application, get accepted, fill out a room and board application, get a room, and then fill out a financial aid application and get turned around at the door when they try to enroll, when they try to get into the institution, because financial aid and admissions and room and board are three separate processes, and they all have to be completed correctly. And if the financial aid process is not completed correctly, it is possible for you to be accepted into an institution and not have the money to attend, to get a room at the institution and not have the money to attend. So we want to make sure that everything goes right before you get there. So get professional help. Allow that young man from ISAC to assist you. Allow the guidance counselors at the target schools to assist you, or allow someone from the Educational Talent Search program to assist you, or EOC if you're not in the school district area. All right. I hope everybody got that. When should we complete this application? Well, this is an annual process. You don't apply for financial aid 1 year and say that you're finished. That's not how this works. You apply every year, once every year, right? And if you're going to be in school for 4 years, you'll do this process every year around the same time. Okay. So if you're a high school senior, you'll need to complete this application starting on October 1st. Now, some of you are going to stay up late, and as soon as the clock strikes 12, you're going to sign in and try to complete the application. I'm telling you now in advance, you won't be able to do it at midnight on October 1st. And you won't be able to complete it at midnight on October 1st because the system will be down for about an hour and a half. And all of this information is coming from the East Coast, I believe. So midnight on the East Coast is really 11 p.m. our time, right? But midnight here on Central Time is at midnight. So it's going to be down for about an hour and a half, and that's okay. Don't panic. Don't get nervous. This is not a race, okay? It's not a race. If you complete your application at the end of October and you did it correctly, you will be in the same great position as a person who did it on October 1st and did it correctly, right? So there is enough money to go around if you are eligible. And if you complete that application at the end of October or the beginning of November, whatever, you'll still be all right. But you want to get it done. You definitely want to get it done, but don't panic if you can't get it done at midnight on October 1st. All right. Everybody got that. So now I talked about having a copy of your tax return. The easiest way to get your tax information into the system is you're going to be asked a question on the FAFSA application about your income, the student's income, and you're also going to be asked a question on the financial aid application about the parent's income. Those people that you stay with, who you receive more than 50% of your support from. You stay with them more than 50% of the time during a given year. You'll need to have their information sent to the federal processor. That process takes place by you just clicking a button, and you're going to be asked, do you want to use the IRS data retrieval tool? You'll check yes, and it will transfer with the click of a button all of your parents' tax information from the appropriate year. And this is really important because if your parents have already filed a tax return for 2021, that information is already in the IRS's data portal, right? And it's already ready to be accessed. If you filed a tax return in 2021, your information is there, and all you have to do is press a button. Now, if you can't do that for some reason, say for example, your parents didn't file, or they filed late, or they're just getting ready to file, but they've completed the application for filing, and you have a paper application that hasn't been submitted to the IRS yet, we can then enter the information manually into the FAFSA application and submit it. But we won't be able to use the IRS data retrieval tool because the information may not be there. Okay, so now's the time to check with your parents. We still have a few more days before October 1. Check with your parents to see, did they file, ask them, did you file your taxes yet for 2021? Not 2022. That's going to be filed later on in 2023. But if they filed, ask them, did they file? And if not, ask them, can you do this before October 1st or before the end of October so that I can submit this information fairly easily to the IRS? There are a lot of questions. It's not just one question that they ask you about income. They're going to ask you several questions. That's why I said get professional help. There are a lot of questions that are going to be asked on this application, and there's some questions that won't be asked, but a professional can actually help you. Let me give you one example. You may say, the question is going to ask, how many people are in your household? You may say, okay, I got 2 brothers and sisters, and it's myself and my mother and father. So the household size will be 5. But your grandmother is staying with you also, and your grandfather is staying with you. Your actual household size then should be 7, right? But if you don't know to include them. If a professional is going to ask you, is there anyone else staying in your household who receives some kind, more than 50% of support from your mother or your father or whoever your legal parent is? If they answer yes to that, then we need to include those people in the household. All right. And be prepared to document that should you be asked to show us proof that that is the situation or the case. Okay. So this IRS data retrieval tool is a really important tool to have. You can complete this application. The mobile app is changing. They're going from this old My Student Aid app that they used to use to a new app. And it should be out now. Complete the FAFSA form, and you can use the app to complete this information. The great thing about completing this application electronically, and that's different from when I went to school, started school back in 1980 something, is that it's really simple. We used to have to fill out paper. The electronic process allows you, it catches you if some information is not there or the application is incomplete. It's going to tell you that. It gives you instructions. If it's something you don't understand, you can click on the little information button on next to the question that's being asked, and it'll give you a further explanation of what is being asked of you. So it's a real simple process. It's been simplified, I should say. It's not a simple process, but the FAFSA Simplification Act, they're trying to make it more easier. Represents a significant overall of the student aid, including the FAFSA form and need analysis and things like that. There are notable changes for 2023-24. They've removed the sex question asking you, are you male or female? That's gone. They removed the registration for the Selective Service Act. A lot of parents were nervous about that. I don't want my son to sign up for the Selective Service because I don't want my son in the military. No offense to our speaker tonight, but that question has been removed. There's a removal of the drug conviction question. Now, if you have been convicted, you can still apply for financial aid. That's awesome, because when we think about rehabilitation, listen, we need training if we're going to rehabilitate. We need education if we're going to rehabilitate. In the past, those who were convicted of some thing could not qualify for Title IV financial aid. So they couldn't get jobs because they couldn't get trained. Now that's been changed with the law. You know, hey, policy is power. Programs are progress. Keep that in mind. Incarcerated students form. There is an incarcerated students form if the person has been incarcerated. Basically, it asks the same questions that are asked on the regular FAFSA application, and we can assist you with that. Now, listen, here's some good news. If your family has an income that is less than $29,000, it used to be $27,000, you would get an automatic zero, what we call EFC, expected family contribution. What that means is that if you get a zero expected family contribution, your family is expected to contribute nothing towards your cost of education. That means that you are eligible for a full amount of a full Pell Grant, which probably means that you're also eligible for a full amount of other federal need-based aid, right? Not merit-based aid based on your academic performance, but we're talking about need-based aid like the Pell Grant, the SELG, the College Work Study, things of that nature. You'll be eligible to receive the maximum amount of those forms of aid. So tonight, if you know that your parents have an income of less than $29,000, you can go to sleep and with a smile on your face, because you're going to be eligible for a full amount of free financial aid, right? Again, the incarcerated form looks just like the regular FAFSA form. Don't be confused by these dates, July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. That's because you will start school in 2023, in the fall of 2023, and you will finish your first year by the end of June 2024. All right. Same questions on the incarcerated form that are on the FAFSA form. Here's some other key aspects. This is a section here where many students and parents have problems. A lot of parents say, listen, I'm not going to share my information with you. I want you to be considered as an independent student. And That's not how you become independent. I'm going to kick you out of my house when you turn 18, and you're going to be considered independent, and that way you can be eligible for financial aid. It doesn't work like that. It is possible for you to be kicked out of your parents' home and still be considered as a dependent student. If you are a dependent student, then you will have to provide your information and your parents' information. Here again, this is why I say get professional help, because a professional can help you to determine whether or not you are an independent or a dependent student. The questions that you'll be asked on this application that helps to determine independency status is if you're at least 24 years of age. If you're in high school right now, you're going to answer no to this question. Are you married? Right? No, if you're not married. Now would be a good time to tell your parents if you are. Are you a graduate or a professional student? What that means, not a high school graduate. We're talking about a graduate, one who has graduated from a post-secondary institution, a college or university. A professional student is one who, like me, when I started working on my doctorate degree, those are professional students, those who are working on special medical degrees, etc., advanced degrees. Those are professional students. All right. Are you a veteran or a member of the armed forces? This is a tricky question here, because if you join the National Guard, but you haven't served at least 180 days or 100, I don't know exactly what the number is, but you need to be in the military, in the National Guard consistently for a certain number of days and listed as an active duty person. The National Guard can be activated, right? They're a part-time branch of the military. But sometimes when we have floods, like the floods that are going on in Florida right now, check the news. You're going to see the National Guard, right? They're going to be activated. If they stay active for more than 140 days, 180 days, you got to check with the recruiter on this. Then you could be considered as a member of the armed forces or a veteran and qualify for independent status. Are you an orphan or ward of the court? That means that you've been designated by your state as an orphan or ward of the court. You'll read the fine print of that question. Your professional who's helping you to complete this application will read the fine print to you, and you'll answer yes or no for that question. If you are, you may qualify as an independent student. Now, let me say this, write this down, think about it for a minute. Just because you're classified as an independent student does not mean that you're going to automatically qualify for financial aid. You could actually in some cases, students are better off being dependent than they are being independent. And it has a lot to do with the federal methodology, the federal formula that the government uses to determine eligibility. What the formula that they use says, listen, we expect parents, they know that parents have a lot of responsibilities. So we expect them to be able to contribute less of their income towards the cost of a college education for their child because they have so many other responsibilities. But a student who is independent is expected to contribute 75% of their earned income after taxes towards the cost of attending the institution. So that's a lot of money. If you're working at McDonald's right now, are you saving 75% of everything that you earn after taxes? Probably not. Okay. So being independent does not automatically guarantee you eligibility for aid. Get professional help. Let us help you. You may be sweating over nothing. Your parents may be eligible. I had a student she said, I'm not eligible for financial aid. I said, let's fill out the application. She says, my parents own a business. We're not going to be eligible. So I got her income. It showed that her parents' earned income was a net income was $108,000. I said, wow, that's a lot of money. But we kept looking at the tax return, and we saw that after the business expenses that her parents had, their actual earned income was only $8,000. She was eligible for a full amount of free financial aid, right? That's what a professional can help you to do when filling out this application. So get help. Okay. All right. Guardianship. What if I don't live with my parents? It doesn't matter if you don't live with your parents. Parents, you still must report information about them. Right? I keep a box of tissue in my office because a lot of students who have bad relationships with their parents, you're thinking, hey, I'm almost 18. I'm getting ready to graduate. And you told your parents, I can't wait till I turn 18. I'm getting out of this house and I ain't never looking back. Well, listen, hold on, pump your brakes, because with this process, you're going to need your parents' information. You cannot, just because you leave their house does not mean you're independent. Unable to provide parent information. Some parents said, I'm not giving you nothing. I'm not going to share my information with you. You may be eligible or able to submit the form without their information, despite being considered a dependent student due to special circumstances. However, you're not going to get free money. A Pell Grant is free money. The federal SEOG, Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, is free money. You won't get that. You're going to need your parents. They'll give you loans, but you will not get free money. And there is a limit as an incoming freshman when you go to college on how many loans, how much of a loan you can borrow. Okay. So listen, correct your relationships tonight with your parents before you go to bed. Tell them you're sorry, make up your room, clean up your room, smile, right? Treat them well, because you're going to need their information. You have an unwilling parent to help you. You can't be considered independent of your parent just because they refuse to help you with the FAFSA form. You can submit the form under a special circumstances, but you will not get an EFC, right? And can only be considered for unsubsidized loans. Unsubsidized loans. An unsubsidized loan starts accruing interest from the point that you get it. You take out the loan. A subsidized loan, the interest is deferred. Okay. So what that means is that if you borrow $10,000 tomorrow, immediately that $10,000 starts to accrue interest. And by the time you graduate, instead of you owing $10,000, you will owe $12,000. But on a subsidized loan, the interest is deferred and guaranteed by the federal government. And at the point of graduation, 6 months after you graduate, that's when the interest starts to accrue, or 6 months after you leave the institution. Okay. Again, the other point here is I have a parent. I think I'm trying to move my screen so I can read this. I have a non-citizen parent. Okay. So what we do in a situation like this, you are a citizen, but your parent is not. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to complete this application. When it gets to the parent section, you're going to have to print your application out. And we're going to have to fill in the information about your parent, your non-citizen parent. And they will have to sign it, sign the application. And then we will have to mail your application in, right? You can't submit your application electronically. So that's the difference between a student who is a citizen and a student and have a parent who is a non-citizen versus a student who's a citizen and their parent is a citizen, right? The non-citizen parent, we have to submit the paper application to the federal government with your parent's signature, okay? All right, we could say more about that, but there's a big discussion that needs to be had if your parent is a non-citizen, right? I'm not telling you to go right ahead and do this. A lot of parents are apprehensive, but we have to work closely with the institution that you're trying to go to get this question answered or to get the application in. I have 2 staff members that are fluent in Spanish, and I have, we know that everyone is not a Hispanic student, but they help a lot with applications and they understand the process. So they can help you with this process as well. Special circumstances, in situations such as the ones listed below, you may be able to submit a FAFSA without parent information, despite being considered a dependent student, right? Your parents are incarcerated. That's a special circumstance and special condition. So we need to submit the FAFSA, but then we need to communicate with the institution that you're trying to attend. I'm going to say that again. We need to submit the FAFSA, but then we need to tell your story. We need to tell the institution that you're going to attend what is going on. What's the special circumstance? What is the special status that you have? You need someone who's a professional who can help you to write that letter, and you don't need to wait. In the situation like this, if you have a special circumstance and you complete your FAFSA October 1, and another student completes their FAFSA who doesn't have a special circumstance, say December 31st, but they complete it correctly. The student who completes that application correctly and has no special circumstances will be further along, they'll be at the head of the line, and the student who completed October 1 but had special circumstances and did not explain it to the institution, the FAFSA application, they're going to be at the back of the line. The FAFSA application does not allow you to explain a special circumstance. That has to be written and sent to the institutions that you're interested in attending. Are you with me? Hopefully you're getting this information. I know it's good stuff. A lot of people won't tell you these things, but that's what a good professional will help you to do. So the FAFSA process, the first part of the process, the student completes the FAFSA form and signs with the FAFSA ID, their electronic signature. Number 2, the FAFSA form is processed by the Financial Aid Administration, and the student receives a student aid report. That's what they talked about earlier. It's a picture of everything that you put down on the application. The school is going to also receive a form. It's called an ICER. It has the same information that your student aid report has on it, but it just goes to the schools that you've listed as the ones you're interested in going to. 3, the college will then review that information and assemble an award package for you. They'll say, if you're going to come here to the U of I, this is how much money we're going to give you. They're going to package you, right? And you'll get that award letter. You gotta be looking out. That's why I said, make sure your email is right and consistent. You have a strong email address, one that you check frequently. Now's a good time to change the name. If you got a crazy name for an email, you may want to correct that. Shoot them up, 57. It might not work. Institutions don't want to bring problems to campus, right? So that name may indicate a potential problem. So make sure you have a good name. Number 4, the student reviews the award package, compares it to the other schools, award letters from the other schools, and then determines which college to attend. Now, some schools will package awards at different times. I would not play the game of trying to see who gives me the most money, although that happens sometimes. There's a way for you to find out what institutions are giving more money than other institutions, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But before we do that, I want to just say this. Listen, for this year, for Pell Grant eligibility, if you're eligible, if you have a 0 EFC, that means you're eligible for the maximum Pell Award. You're going to get $6,008. If you're a full-time student, you're going to get $6,895 in free aid to go towards your cost of attending. You'll also simultaneously be applying for state aid. That's the MAP award, the monetary award program from the state of Illinois. If you're going to stay in the state of Illinois. If you're going to leave the state of Illinois, you may be eligible for the MAP award, but it is not portable. Write that down. It is not portable, meaning that you can't port this money from Illinois, from the MAP award, to another state, say Michigan, right? And if you go to Michigan, you may have to pay what we call out-of-state tuition, which is double the amount of tuition that other students from that state have to pay. If your parents have lived in the state of Illinois, the state of Illinois has made provisions to help your parents receive something as a result of living here, working, and paying taxes. So the max on that award, if you stay in the state, is $7,200. There's also the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. Highlight this. Write this grant down. Write it down. Federal Supplemental Opportunity Grant, Educational Opportunity Grant. This grant, you need to ask for it. Even though you're applying and they are considering you for it, it is a grant that you need to ask for. They don't have to give it to you. Even if you're eligible, they don't have to give it to you. For tonight's purposes, we're going to pretend that you are eligible and you have asked for it, and so you're going to get it. So that's $4,000, the max on that. And then there's something called Federal College Work Study. It's better, write this down. Write this down. It's better to work a federal college work study job than to work one that is not a federal work study job, meaning that when you go to school, when you fill out this application, they're going to say you're eligible for federal work study funds. But to get the funds, you have to get a job and earn the funds, right? The reason why I say it's better to have a college work study job versus a non-college work study job is that next year, after when you go into your sophomore year and you fill this application out again, the federal work study money that you file on your taxes will be money that is considered as income. I'm sorry, it will be money that's considered as income, but it will also be considered as federal aid. and they will wipe it out. It won't count against you when trying. Remember, I said 75% of your income as a student you need to put towards your cost of attending. They won't count that as earned income against you. Okay, so that's the difference. I can explain more later on, but I'm out of time on this particular part. So if we add all of this up, that total aid is about $18,095. That's the total amount that you could probably receive in the form of free aid. When you look at the total cost of attending, it's $36,000 on average. When you look at a 4-year public institution, state institution, on average, it's about $36,394. Why did we hear from presenters from South Suburban College? We heard from them because the cost of attending is lower, right? So if you're eligible for a Pell Grant plus a MAP award plus some SELG, you probably can go to South Suburban for free for 2 years and then transfer to your 4-year college and not owe anything. But the student who goes away to a school where the cost of attending is about $36,000, they're eligible for the maximum amount of free aid. They're probably going to have to borrow $18,299, right? When you consider all of these fees. And this is something that's really important. Your tuition can be deferred by a military grant, but you want to ask the question, does that include the fees for the institution? Because in some cases, the fees at an institution are higher than the actual tuition. I'm going to pause for effect, right? So whoever's trying to offer you some money, ask them, does that include fees, right? Then you have room and board and all that. They add all that up and some other miscellaneous costs, and they give you, what it costs to attend a particular institution. So you can reduce costs of attending by, first of all, finding a school that has a great financial aid policy. Okay, one of the sources I want to point to you is called the College Scorecard. The College Scorecard. I'm going to put in a school here. Hopefully my screen has changed and you're able to see this. I'm going to ask Latia if she can text me and let me know if people cannot see what I'm doing. I'm trying to type in a school name on the College Scorecard. I'm going to type in the University of Chicago. Okay, and so when we look at this particular school, the University of Illinois, they're comparing a number of schools here. Let's just say University of Illinois. Their graduation rate is 67%. The average cost of attending is about $13,000. The median earnings after graduation is about $60,000. And so that gives you information. That's really good information to have when you compare the University of Illinois to DeVry University in Illinois. 19% graduation rate. That means that about 81% of the students who enroll in this school are not graduating within a 6-year period or 4-year period of graduate. You can click on this little button and it gives you the information. Oh, this is 8 years. Oh my God. All right. The graduation rate is the share of students who graduated within 8 years from entering the school. So that tells you a lot, right? If that graduation rate is low, that means that something is not going on that's good there. That means that students are coming into that institution and they're going right back out the door. The worst thing you can do is to start school and not finish, borrow money, all of these things, but not graduate, right? You want to graduate. You can graduate in 4 years if you do this one thing. 15 is the new full-time, right? 15 is the new full-time. If you register for 15 credit hours every semester from the time you enter in as a freshman, write that down. You will graduate in 4 years, okay? Because you pass all of those classes. You don't withdraw, right? You will graduate within 4 years. So I want you to look at that. So compare DeVry, and hopefully I'm not crushing anybody's dreams. Less students are graduating, right? The average cost of attending is higher. That's the out-of-pocket cost. If I click on this information button, this average annual net price that a student who receives federal financial aid pays to cover expenses, example, tuition, living expenses, this is after financial aid. They're saying you're going to probably, after you get financial aid, you're probably going to have to come up with that much money per year to attend there. let's take a look at a highly selected institution like the University of Chicago. Now, it costs a lot of money to go to the University of Chicago, right? But the graduation rate is 94%. The earnings after graduation rate is 77,000. The average annual cost out of pocket is about 29,000 after receiving financial aid. It's the same for Chamberlain Institution, University, and some others. So University of Illinois is looking pretty good. Looks like a pretty good buy. So those are the things you want to look at. This college scorecard gives you that information. It tells you those things. So you can save money by understanding the policies of the institution. A professional can help interpret that for you and give you that information. Find supportive service programs like TRIO programs. If you're in Upward Bound, we're going to connect you to a program within the institution that is also a TRIO program. If you enroll into a program called Student Support Services, TRIO Student Support Services, write that down. TRIO Student Support Services. If you apply for that, you'll actually get extra income that won't count against you, your financial aid package. It'll actually help you to get more money. All right, I got to speed up. So listen, if you want help, we got more help for you. We're having a number of FAFSA nights. We're going to be at Thornton on the October 13th. We'll be at Thorn Ridge on October 20th. We'll be at Thornwood on October 25th at those particular schools, but we'll be at the schools all throughout the week during the month of October, November, December to help you with applications. Go to the counseling offices and they'll direct you to one of my staff members who can help you to complete these applications. If you are not in attending a school in District 205, but you're watching this presentation, our EOC representatives can help you, and you can call us at the information I'm going to give you in a minute. Those of you who stayed and watched this presentation, any of you who get help from you join a talent search program, you can let them help you complete your application. I'm going to give you a free ticket to opening night for Black Panther. But that's only if you have joined the program and you've received assistance from a staff member to complete this application, then you'll get that. If you want more information, go to www.familycenter.org. Call us at 708-210-1771. You don't have to ask for me. There are staff members. I have over 30 some odd staff members who've been hired and trained to do this work. You don't need Dr. McKenzie to do this. But if you want to talk to me, just leave a message and I'll try to get back to you. You can also go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, because we will be publishing scholarships and all kinds of other information on the Family Centered Educational Agency's Facebook page on a regular basis with TikTok videos and all of that. I'm going to stop my screen share now so that we can turn the presentation back over to Ms. Bishop. Thank you.
Oh, I'm muted. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. McKenzie. I got my notes. I heard you say get some help, FSEOG, work study, total aid is $18.95. Paid tuition, does paid tuition include fees? So many great things. I mean, my notes are really long. Okay. That's just a fraction of them. And the tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm done. I'm not going to school next year. Anyway, I want to thank our presenters, Gloria Ruiz and Daisy Lozano from South Suburban, Sergeant Paris Washington from the Illinois National Guard, from the Army National Guard, and our own Dr. Jonathan McKenzie from FASEA. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And we would be remiss if we did not thank the other individuals who help us pull off this event tonight. You probably have seen their names above. So I want to start with Mr. Mark Hall and Miss Marianne Thornton from Avidity Technologies. Thank you so much for your work with getting our opening video PowerPoint ready and produced. Mr. Jamiron Graham, who is our District 205 Coordinator of Instructional Technology. Thank you, Mr. Graham, for running this presentation tonight. And also, you saw Mr. Gregory Curry of the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. His name was there because he's present in this presentation. And again, this is the gentleman who comes to us from the state to help our seniors and their parents complete the FAFSA with expert help. So again, we've got a number of key people who are available to help our seniors and their parents. And he rotates buildings. He does have other school districts that he works with, 215 and 228. But we are blessed to have him return to us this school year and help all 3 of our school buildings in District 205. And of course, I cannot leave out Ms. Gabrielle Dillon, the Director of TRIO Talent Search Programs, and all of the Family-Centered Educational Agency staff. Guys, when I say it takes a village, it does truly, truly take a village. We couldn't pull this off as college and career counselors with the caseloads or with the number of seniors, I should say, that we have in our buildings. So thank you all kindly for your presence tonight in this financial aid night session.
And most importantly, we want to thank all of the students from the district, the parents, and staff members who all joined us tonight. We thank you all for your support. And again, if you all have any questions or concerns, please stop by your college career counselor offices in each of the prospective buildings. And we wish you all the best and good night.
Good night.